Hey, Tinkers out there, Happy New Year. Let's talk digital confidence. What does it all mean, and how can we get you set up? Let's have some real conversations right now. And hello, everyone. If you are watching this, this is on demand. Thank you for coming to my YouTube channel. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. And welcome to my Let's Talk Confidence 2026. I'm so glad that you're here. This is from via LinkedIn to my Google Meet, so to speak. So this is a Google Meet recording, and I wanted to do this for a lot of reasons. It's the beginning of the year. We have a lot of tech in front of us, whether it's AI, your gaming console, um, whatever it is that you have that's either new tech, old tech, emerging tech. I wanted to do this to talk about what does it mean to be digitally confident in this new year and realizing that we are 4 more years into the next decade, which is crazy to think. I just can't believe it's been only a couple of years since it was just 2020. And we're about to approach 2030, which is wild to even think about. But it's a new year, a new mindset, and I want to talk about what does it really mean to be digitally confident. So thank you for joining me. I'm Bradford Harris, and a little bit about me if you don't know who I am and you're just jumping into this channel. I am an educator. I've been in the education space for over 15 years, whether that's been in the corporate space or in the nonprofit space, helping out organizations, or in the K-12 space. My goal has always been, like you see here on the screen, is I want to help people be digitally confident in the intersection of technology in education. And that can be, like I said, from the range of K-12 all the way up to the corporate spaces. And I want to make sure that I empower you to be at whatever level you are in your technology digital journey, no matter what the changes are. It's about how you feel in this space. And like you see on the screen here, it's about being focused on clarity, structure, and being practical when you're using your technology. So that's really what I'm all about. And it doesn't have to be a specific piece of technology, even though I do talk about those things, but it's all about having that clear head about here's how I, not me, but here's how I, as a person, want to approach how I'm comfortable using any type of technology so that it works in my personal workflow. So that's what this is all about. So I wanted to address something that really just happened to me as I planned this presentation. And even before I even started pressing record on this, um, so I did a couple of test runs just to make sure everything was running, making sure everything was okay. To be prepared, you do a lot of tech run throughs, you do a lot of rehearsals before you present your material. And so maybe a night before, I was testing out my mic, testing out the slide deck, make sure everything was ready to go. And I'm going to admit to you all, of course, I was a little frustrated with some things, but some things just weren't going the way I wanted it to go. And yes, I did it through a Google Meet. And of course, my AI Gemini was attached to it. Now, I'm not going to get into what Gemini does. That's probably for another tutorial. But in short, once you close your Google Meet and you have your Gemini turned on and you have the transcripts turned on, it will document everything that you've done. If you've had a conference call with somebody, it will give you a transcript, and then it will summarize everything that you've done. And so you can either for a little while to get that back in your inbox, or you can just come back the next day, whatever you want to do. So I just went on ahead and I went to bed. I really didn't think anything of it until the very next day when I was ready to say, okay, I'm ready to just do some final things with putting this presentation together. So as you can see here on the screen, I have two documents here. And in those two documents, it's basically giving me some meeting notes. And I'm going to call these as feedback. Technically, the Google Gemini transcripts or whatever, it doesn't give you feedback. It just is it's reporting just this is what happened when you were in there. So it did a little summary. And for those of you who don't know me, I kind of like to talk through some things on my own. I'm thinking of how this doesn't work, that doesn't work, or I like this or I like that. And I'm just talking through. Well, of course, I have my mic on as I'm doing all of these things. And I don't believe I had the actual recording on, but I had the other features on, the transcript, the Gemini recordings, and all those kind of things. So the video part was not recording. And so I decided to take a look at the documents. And just to summarize, these were like over a period of 2 days, so two separate ones. And I noticed a couple of things and said, okay, this is what Bradford was going through. Bradford has some presentation technology issues, going through frustrating with some testing tools, some design challenges, some character customizations. And it just gave a sentence of this is how he's talking it through. And I just sat there and I read it. And I looked at this and I go, this is amazing. Not that it gave me suggestions, it gave next steps, not recommendations of next steps, but things that maybe I was just talking about. Maybe this is what I want to do next. But to have that written down, it really made me think about, okay, here's how I'm going to narrow down my focus. Here's what I'm going to maybe add real quickly because of what I've seen here in this document. Here's what I'm going to take away. And it's just a quick fix. And that made me feel a lot better. So it came up for me a lot of things that I wanted to think about. Actually, number one, definitely doing a video on how to do some of these things and get to think about how this is going to be feedback, but also how this made me feel a lot better. It made me feel a lot more confident on how I wanted to approach this presentation because it just gave me some quick notes and a quick reflection piece. So something that I'm definitely going to want to play around with and try in maybe the coming months. We'll see about that. So really love doing that. So let's keep talking about this digital confidence. So if you're looking at this video, I want you to take 90 seconds, or I'll even want you to pause as you're looking at this screen here. And this is something that I learned just a few days ago. The more you get to know me, I'm not a person that is a big resolutions person. In fact, I do not do them. I don't do the one word thing either. It's for me, and I'll say this first and foremost, if that is something that you do, that is great. And I totally support you in it. So that's not what this is about. But for me, I realized that that does not work for me. It boxes me in. And I feel like, oh, with the resolution part, it feels like, oh, that's just a running joke. Like in 2 days, you've already broken it. So I decided that Bradford doesn't need to do those anymore because Bradford is trying to hit benchmark, hit goals, even if they don't make sense or even if they don't get accomplished within that first week, you adjust, you modify. So when I was in at work in one of my working sessions, one of the supervisors talked about, I want to know your aspirations for 2026. And I went, whoa, that's different. What are your aspirations for 2026? And then, so I added something on top of that, not in the group, but I'm adding this for you all. What are your tech aspirations for 2026? And here's a thing that the supervisor did, because this was a virtual call. And feel free to take this to your group if you're in a virtual call or if you're doing something else. But this really was really nice in a virtual call. When The when my supervisor asked, "What are your aspirations for 2026?" Of course, in an instant, we were ready to type and send it. But what he said was, type it in the chat, but do not send it yet. I will tell you when to press send. And that's something that was very powerful because I think in that instant, when you're in the virtual space and somebody's asking you a question, you're quick to put something down and then click on it. But what I think my supervisor was trying to do was really giving you that time to think about what you want to write. If you need to make some quick edits, if you need to marinate on and really think about it, and it may be something that, oh, I'm just going to put this down really quickly and then move on. But given that time that I want to type it out, I really want to share my thoughts and then I want to post to make sure that it's very clear to people because then my supervisor maybe want to just, call it out, or he really wants to see the data in the Zoom call or in the Google Meet call really come up, really wants to see that content come up because it's all about content and clarity as well come up. And I thought that was really powerful. So what he said was, no, take 90 seconds, a minute and 90 seconds, type it into the chat, take your hands off of the computer. And then when I tell you to press send, then press send so that I can see all of this content come up and really read out what everybody is looking for. So I'm going to ask you to do the same thing, but obviously this is a video. So what I want you to do is I want to know what your aspirations are for 2026. And then I want you to tell me what your tech aspirations are for 2026. But pause the video, write them down somewhere, and then maybe put it into the comment section or put it in the chat, however I'm going to post this later. But then take some time to just reflect, put it in the chat. And it's okay if it's not concrete right now, but think about it and then put it in the comments and then play it again. All right. So now that we've done that, I want to go on ahead and just throw something out there for me. So for my aspirations for 2026 is to, and I said it in an earlier video, and it may change from time to time, but I think my aspiration is to evolve from what I said in my last video. But um my aspiration is to really keep learning, keep evolving, keep growing from where I was before, especially when it comes to where I'm at in my career and where I'm at with my family. So I don't know what that looks like yet, but I want to make sure that uh everything that I do has a synergy to it and that it evolves and it grows and I'm learning from it. My tech aspirations are that pretty much the same thing. I want to make sure that everything I do has a synergy to it and that it connects to my work and that there's a simplicity to it and that I'm able to speak on it with some clarity to myself and to some others and be of ministry to people. So that's my aspiration. And so that's how I'm looking at things. And who knows, tomorrow that might change. And I want to be okay with that. So hopefully I get to read some of your aspirations for 2026 and then your tech aspirations for 2026. So I can't wait to see what that's going to be about. So let's talk about being overwhelmed. Okay. We're talking about digital confidence here, right? Even your boy gets overwhelmed. It may look like I got it all together, but especially when it comes to doing all of these posts and these videos, that is one side of everything. I know that's a conversation that a lot of people don't talk about. It takes a lot to create content, to create these presentations, to even come on here and do the smile on my face and get excited and everything. Not that I'm not excited to do this now. I am, but it does take a lot of work to be in this digital space. So even I get overwhelmed, and I want to put that out there. And it's not just dealing with the tabs. I'm dealing with a lot of things. So like you see my picture here, and I always laugh and chuckle. I always sound like I'm like the Black Tony Stark with all these computers and all this stuff. And I do think it's cool, but sometimes I have to say, okay, Bradford, take a step back. Maybe you need to go sit down somewhere. Yes, you do work from home, and yes, you like all your screens because you're doing a lot of work. But I do have to take a step back. And there's some other things that like when I'm really, really working, you can see a whole bunch of tabs. And I have to sometimes blink and go, man, where are all these tabs coming from? When did I start dealing with this? And then when I do decide to step away, how many of you all feel this? I just want to watch Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or whatever. And uh all of a sudden maybe I accidentally logged out, or there was an update, and all of a sudden guess what, you have to log back in. And I'm in that moment where I really don't feel like doing that. I just sat down, and of course I know my username and password, but you have the remote and you really don't want to do that. And so they said the easiest thing to do is get your phone and get the QR code. But I'm like, I don't want to do all that stuff. I just turn on the TV and maybe watch Witcher or whatever it is that I want to watch. I mean, can I just get started? And there was this one time where I was in the game room because that's the closest direction to my office, and I only had a couple minutes of a break, and every single application was just not logged in. I said, forget it. Now, probably after this video, I'm probably going to go in and make sure that everything is back on. But I just said, you know what? Forget it. It's not worth it. I'm going to go do something else. But again, that was just like, okay, team too much. But there's also things that I'm also dealing with where I'm even teaching online on class, and I'm streaming, making content. I'm doing all these things. Being a solo entrepreneur, it can be a lot. And so what I'm still learning is how to have that balance within my tech. And I am a work in progress. Let me make it clear. I love doing all of this, but there are days where I feel like, okay, I need to maybe go sit down on the couch, or maybe I just need to go outside and have a cup of coffee and go touch some grass. So that's part of having that digital confidence, is really admitting where it could be just a little bit too much. So I want to know from you all, how do you feel about that? What do you guys think? What are you also getting overwhelmed about within your tech space? And then there is that making those digital decisions, the context of switching a lot. Um, do I use Google? Do I use Microsoft? Do I use Apple? Do I switching from email to Slack to Docs, a meeting link, using Google Meet, using Zoom, using there's so much digital decisions that we are making every single day that it can be a lot, even for the most, and I don't like using this word a lot, but for tech savvy people, it can still be a lot because what works for you may not work for somebody else, and vice versa. And you may realize, like, oh, I'm a Microsoft person, this other person's a Google person. I have to be on their platform, and again, vice versa. And so we're constantly making now these digital decisions every day, and even on our mobile devices, where we thought it's great to have these notifications being set up. But now I don't know about you. How do you feel about it all of a sudden becoming noise? And I don't mean just the audio noise, but even just the digital noise where you're constantly having to look at what's being pinged, what's going on in said platform. It can be a lot because you want to be alert, you want to stay in tune with what's going on, but it still could be a lot. You're still making that constant decision of where you want to draw your attention to. I will honestly say one of the best feelings in the world, and I have it in my one of my podcasts, and I'll put that in the show notes, where my I had to reset my phone and really start from scratch, and I didn't realize all the applications that I was missing that I really didn't need. Now I'm slowly bringing some of those back, but it helped me really cut out a lot of that noise. So, but again, like those notifications maybe can feel urgent, but not really. And again, not talking about just the noise ones, but the ones that are just that those instant pop-ups, because they're so close in our pocket, that we feel like we always have to constantly check. So it's not just being on mobile devices, but it's also the operating systems that we're using. Since we're in 2026, let's talk about what happened the last couple of months, our holiday tech. We've been surrounded by these holiday tech deals, the Prime Day, the Black Friday, and this is no shade to Prime. Not really. I'm not trying to, get blasted here, but that that can affect this overwhelmness that we may be feeling. The online shopping, we're trying to avoid the rush or make it simple by just uh going online and buying ourselves to avoid the stores. And now, of course, we see that there's AI now embedded into everything that we do, and it's helping us do that automated shopping. And then all of a sudden, we realize it realized that, oh, you need these pants. Oh, I didn't know I needed these pants. I'm gonna get that, or I'm gonna get that, for my mom. I'm gonna get that for my friend or my wife or whoever. And so it's already deciding what we need based on the algorithms of what we've bought previously. And then there's the after holiday, after the holidays, where you've gotten all of those gifts. But guess what you have to do? You have to be the technical support. And what do I mean by that? We're having to understand the tech. We're having to fix that tech. And I was in a conversation where you're getting the tech, but you have to get it working. So you're going online on a tech device to fix the tech, or you're going back into the stores to making sure that that tech, you understand how to use that tech to get that tech to work, and realizing that within this time frame, that holiday time frame, you want to make sure that everything is up and going. Why? Because it has to fit your lifestyle after January 1st, because it needs to be already embedded. It needs to be already working, because those last couple of weeks, we are the year has died down. We're meeting family. We're on vacation. It's fun time. We're in a different reality. We get back to our workday regular routines after the new year. So everything needs to automatically start working before we get back into that real groove of work and school and everything else. So now, towards the end, I don't know if anybody has thought about that. Towards the end, we're playing that tech support if you bought those technology devices. So, why do we take part in things like this? And I hope you're thinking like, okay, I thought we were talking digital confidence. I'm really leading into all of this, but why do we deal with all of this? Well, okay, let's just really admit we want to really stay on top of the latest trends, especially in the last couple of years. We want to know what's going out there, and whether it's in education, whether it's in the corporate space, whether it's in the consumer market. We want to make sure that, hey, I want to know what's going on, and if I want to purchase something, or if I want to be able to use it, I want to be able to understand it. And then here's my word here: when we're one try to fix stuff, we want to make sure that we are tech savvy in front of others, whether we understand it or not. We want to be able to make sure that we are able to at least access something, or be able to go somewhere where we know that, okay, whenever I have a problem, where do I go to get this fixed? And please tell me the language, because next time I'll want to be able to fix it myself. So I don't have to pay this certain amount of money, or I don't have to travel to said destination to get this fixed. So we want to be as savvy as possible in front of others. But here's where the confidence comes in. We want to show others that we are confident as much as possible to use these softwares, to use these gadgets, to use these tools, no matter if this is in education, at home, or in our workplace. I feel like that's why we really want to do this. And that's why we're still really fascinated with these digital devices because we want to stay on top of the trends. We want to be as tech savvy as confident so we can feel confident in front of others. And I don't think it's a big ego. It's more so we can just be of help to others as much as we can. But here, here's my truth, or here's my reality. So I'm not going to say that it's everybody's reality, but let me see how you feel about this. A lot of it, it's just overwhelming. And remember, go back to where I showed you my earlier picture with all the stuff that I was going through. No matter what level that you're at, you could be the biggest tech genius in the world, or maybe you don't understand tech at all. No matter what level you're at, it can still feel overwhelming. And you can often feel frustrated while dealing with the digital device or the software, the tech. You feel like, I just don't get it. Even there are sometimes for me, I feel like I don't even get this. And I need to take a step back and deal with whatever it is that I'm dealing with. Or maybe it's another outside problem and the tech part is just really frustrating me at the moment. I know that there's a way to do it, but I have something else that I'm dealing with at the moment. And this is just overwhelming. And or it's just maybe this part of tech is just not where I fit in at the moment. Have you ever felt like that yourself? Or you just feel out of place? But here's a really big one. Let's just call it what it is. Maybe the real deal is maybe it's just too damn much. And I think that's one of the conversations that we really need to start having with ourselves. Now, I don't mean we need to start going outside and start picketing and screaming and shouting, but I think we need to start maybe being a little bit vocal professionally and kindly and say, you know what, this is a lot. We need to kind of back up a little bit. Maybe it's way too much going on. I am fully supportive of tech and emerging tech and being all these spaces. But hey, I'm over here and I'm still learning. Maybe we need to be in some roundtable discussions and figure out what's going on. And for me, I had to learn that for myself within these past couple of years, and I really had to listen to this for myself and for others, and really learn that a lot of people are at really different levels when it comes to their digital learning, their emerging tech learning, and just having to share that and be vocal about it. I'm in a different technology space than other people are in technology space. And what I've talked about with some other people is that some people use technology when they're ready to use technology, and not because they don't want to use it. It's just it doesn't apply to them quite yet until it's thrust upon them, or it just comes at them at that particular moment, and they look at it and go, okay, now I see where it's time for me to use it and learn it. But wow, it's so much and I don't have a plan on how this looks. I need help with a plan because I don't even know where to start. And for some people, that's a reality, and that overwhelms them a lot. And I think we need to start being a little bit vocal about that as we see that the gaming and the AI and the software and all of these things are coming about. I truly think that people really like these things, but it's trying to figure out, okay, how does this fit within my lifestyle? And when you start to acknowledge that and where your own skills are at, this is where I feel like now here's where I can start feeling a little bit confident about where I want to approach my own digital tech. Even if it's just, I just need to know how to turn this computer on. Hey, that's okay. We listen and we don't judge. But I feel like to start that digital confidence, it's time to really start. Here is the reality of where I'm at. Here's the reality of where my group is at. Here's the reality of where that group is at. And here's the plan of how we need to work to move to that next step and then to the other next step. So when we're looking at what digital confidence is not about having speed, being the fastest one there, being the first one on deck, or being that expert. I really truly believe that's not what being digital confident is. For me, having digital confidence is knowing what you want to use and what you want to ignore. And then also in digital confidence, it's also knowing when to pause and walk away. It's okay to come back, but at some point when you realize, okay, this is too much, I'm going to pause. I've learned this from a former principal of mine where he would always say, stop, look, pause. And once I heard him say that, that for me, I know it was to get students' attention, but I also looked at that as, okay, it's time for some clarity. It's time for a self check. Where are we at? What am I doing? Push the table back like you see on this GIF here, walk away, and then maybe come back. Realize that your emerging tech is going to be different for you versus somebody else. And that is completely okay. And this again is something that I've learned within these past few years. And it doesn't have to be, it could be with AI, it could be with gaming, it could be with an operating system, but it looks different for everyone. There is no 100% expert on this. There's no one that's faster than someone else. Maybe on digital paper, but for you, having that own personal confidence is knowing what you need to use that's going to help you in your workflow, what you probably need to ignore for right now, and then what you need to pause and take and pump the brakes on, and then maybe come back a little later on. At the end of the day, having that digital confidence about trusting yourself and what tools are going to work best for you in your plan and in your workflow, and not the tools that are just out there as the gimmick. But again, this is all about looking at yourself and what you can do to get you to that next level. The tools will come later. The tools will always change, but you have to have that trust in yourself to go, okay, where do I need to start? Where is my honest level at? And for others out there, when they feel like, okay, that person's at this level, understand that they may have not seen that need to be at the level of where you're at or where other people are at. It's different for everybody, but people are coming with that honest conversation and going, here's where I'm at, and I would like to be at this level. So again, trust yourself, not the tools. Trust yourself and not the tools. So I'm going to list 5 common digital challenges that for me, I see most of the time. And as I pop some of these up on the screen, I want to know which ones resonate the most with you. And since you're looking at this on demand, or if you're looking at this on a video clip, put this in the comments. Let me know what you all are thinking. So here are the first 3. Information overload. So that could be like I just talked about earlier. Are you getting like a whole bunch of emails? I know you probably have seen a lot of applications where, hey, if you get this application, it's going to help you organize your email. It's going to help you do this. Maybe you're getting a lot of pings. Maybe you're getting a lot of buzzes or alerts. Even the ones that don't make the sounds. Maybe it's just a lot of information that's just trying to get our attention, and it feels like a digital circus. And it's making it very difficult for us to focus, and let alone just juggling our priorities. It's just trying to right now just, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, not let me help you with your project management. Here's one that's really big for me: the password account and digital fatigue. I mean, password account and account fatigue. Password and account fatigue. Getting all of your logins, security codes together, the accounts, all of that, getting all that, it's just so, I'll admit that is a lot. Uh I'm gonna admit this out here and now. Not it's not an admission, but I found it funny and I really sympathize with it. There was that scene in Abbott Elementary where they were in that tech meeting and oh I forgot it's Shirley Ralph's character. And she said, I hope they're not talking about password changes. If they, she says, if they are, you know what, they can just have that password. They can just hack me. And I just busted out laughing. I thought that was the funniest thing in the world because there are times where I'm at this point where if I have to change my password one more time, I'm just going to tell them it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or the latest thing that I thought about was, well, can I just give blood and you just open it up? I mean, I don't know. I'm rambling there, but that's definitely one of my biggest ones. But then there's the disorganizing of your files, your digital files. Do you have pictures and digital notes and docs scattered everywhere? Do you have some in one cloud over here and one account over there or in another cloud over there? And there's no rhyme or reason to it. You just I need space over here, or ooh, I was in this, meeting or this session or this conference, and they talked about this new app, and it's great for me to put this information over here. And so there's no rhyme or reason as to why I have it. I just know that I need to store something here. Uh, and let's be honest, because it's free and I don't have to pay for it quite yet. So are you dealing with that? Here are our last two. There's tool confusion, not just at work or at school, but also at home. We're expected to dance around with all of these digital tools, but sometimes without guidance or a map to navigate how to piece it all together, it feels like we're doing this strange dance. And I guess for my family, I guess they're lucky enough to have some type of technology expert. I know some of my friends are the same way, but even for me, even for even for me, there it is where I'm like, I don't want to be the tech expert today. I guess second you get out of it as a six person if you're a technology person. But it could be a lot if you don't feel like you have a clear roadmap. But then that goes all the way also to the digital fatigue. The digital fatigue. At the end of the day, choosing which tool is best for what project or where to find certain things, how to effectively reply, or which setting would be the best setting for playing a game or using your doc correctly. It could lend to a lot of burnout and just having to walk away and just say, okay, is this too much for me right now? Now I really need to go touch some grass or read your book. So again, which one is the most challenging for you? Definitely want to know about that in the comments or in whatever I'm posting this at. So let me know what you think about that. So we've named everything. I've talked about a lot of things today. And let's just pause for a second because I want to make sure that we turn everything around and walk away with some tips. So many think that having digital confidence, it's time for just I'm ready to do this big overhaul and just clean house and totally start over, just like you would do with something that's physical in your life. You really don't need to have this digital revolution. I do believe in, maybe doing a digital assessment, but I also believe in taking time to do things in small chunks because we didn't get to one place overnight. It was in small increments. So take that backwards and say I'm going to do this I'm going to reduce things in smaller increments just so I can be a little bit more comfortable. So digital confidence blossoms from tiny, deliberate steps, not doing a grand reset. So start small. Start small. choose one thing and not everything. Maybe it's one folder that you want to clean up. Maybe it's your inbox. Maybe it's one tool that you want to just either get rid of or practice using a little bit more or just be more productive at. Whatever that is, start small with that because starting small builds momentum and doesn't require you to build mountains. So again, that could be again tackling a folder on your desktop, maybe cleaning up your browser, maybe auditing an account that you haven't looked at in a while. Taking that time to just say, okay, I'm going to really look at this for 5 to 10 minutes. And it doesn't have to be complete. Just know that, okay, I'm going to look at this and see what's really going on here. That is really going to help you. Adopt one habit to reduce the noise. Digital stress often stems from a lot of noise, not chaos. That can be physical and digital, and even silence has noise in it. So the pings and the dings that make things alert and that are urgent when things aren't really urgent or when they're trying to grab your attention, those are things that you can help reduce the noise from. So try to silence some of those non-essential notifications. Uh, check messages maybe on a schedule. Those are things that I try to practice doing, especially with emails. One thing that I know I do with emails that I do set a time where I'm checking my email. I try to. I'm admitting that. Where in the morning, maybe I'm looking at the emails. I may not respond, but I know I'm checking it and I'm trying to make sure that what are my tasks for the day. So I do set some. That's one thing that you can do. Try to close any tools that you haven't even used, even if you haven't used them in a week, if you haven't used them in a month. Really assess it. Do I really need to use this? When's the last time I really used this? Because cutting the noise isn't shrinking your duty; it's safeguarding your focus. Simplify one decision. Okay, decision fatigue is a digital reality. Predictable choices can really boost your confidence. And some examples of that are always try to save your files in one spot. Use maybe OneNote tool. Stick to a one system and try to use one task system and use it with fidelity. Okay. Again, stick to one task system and use it with fidelity. Making fewer decisions when it comes to your productivity tools or your digital tools, software devices, means that you can get more of that confidence. And one thing that you can probably stop doing, that think about that. Think about one thing that you know that you can stop doing. That could be a huge game changer for you. Okay. Digital confidence is also about pruning and not piling on or not totally saying, I'm going to stop all of this right now. What can you slowly say, I'm going to stop doing this right now, or I'm going to taper off something like this right now? Okay. So maybe I'm going to stop this constant checking or ditch some of the tools that you like, that you dislike. Sorry, ditch some of the tools that you dislike. I always say that I'm not married to tools. I always date them. Quit optimizing every workflow. Every workflow does not need to be optimized. You can drop tools that don't serve you. You can drop digital things that don't serve you. Another example that I even have done now even with my streaming platforms is they're not most of them are not connected to my credit card accounts. We try to do the when we go grocery shopping, we try to get the cards that are in the store. They're part of our grocery list. So we feel that habit. I know not all of them are connected like that, but that's one way to help reduce some of the burdens that we have, especially the financial burden. So that's one example. So I hope some of this helped you. And so tonight or whenever you watch this was just a conversation. Maybe there were some tips that you that helped you. Maybe there's some things that connected with you, but this was the Google LinkedIn version of talking about challenges and removing some of that guilt, or I'm not going to say shame because I know it says shame right there, but I'm like, I don't know about shame, but removing some of that and shifting to get some of that overwhelming off out of there and really looking at the clarity and confidence when it comes to having digital tools and software in front of you. On the 19th, I'm going live with some Q&A, and we're going to talk about what does that digital reset look like, having simple systems to reduce that digital stress. And so I hope you can join me for that. It's real time problem solving with live Q&A. So please join me and we'll sit and collaborate. I'll come have some ideas out there about said digital tools. You come with your digital tools. Let's really make this a great Q&A session. Then on the 31st, that is my learning lab session. Please register for that. It is a guided workshop and support session where it's hands-on. And like it says here, I'll set you up with some templates and tools for some structures to help you with your digital confidence. You can register for that. And there is a VIP portion where you can also sign up and get some one-on-one support from me to get you digitally ready for the year. So again, join me for part 2 on January 19th. And you can go and check that out at tinkertechedu.com/live events. It's already on the calendar. And you can also go to my channel where you can like, follow, and subscribe. You don't have to have the notifications on, but if you want to, go on ahead. It'll be up and going. It's already ready to go. But my goal for all of you is to make sure in 2026 that you are digitally ready, no matter what device you're using or software you're using, no matter what level you're at. I want to make sure that you are confident in your journey, and I'm here to support you along the way. I'm Bradford Harris, and thank you for watching.